And now I'm wondering, so just real quick, so how long were you a novice racer before you bumped up to expert?
So I had to sit out the rest of that season. Um, the following year, I had gotten my first like modern bike. It was so in 2010, that was
You
my
had the
first like
CBR
full
600.
novice season. Yeah, I got an '07 600RR, which was pretty much the current platform. And what was crazy to me was I got down to 123s at Jennings on a 40,000-mile F4i
Insane.
because of how goofy my head was from the crash. I went back on a 600RR and could only manage 25s. And I had nothing to,
Yeah.
like it was a much better platform, much better piece of equipment, but just the mental aspect, I was that timid and that worried and that scared that I suffered that much on track.
Mm,
And knowing that, I basically would collect piles of takeoffs and I would go to Jennings on track day weekends, in between race weekends, and I would make myself ride on really not awesome tires just to like desensitize myself to it. Later on, I definitely figured out a better way to kind of do that that's a little bit safer. Um, so my first full novice year, I had a buddy that ran kind of like a little endurance team, and I would usually go over and kind of help them out in the pits. And there was this, I'll call him guy. Realistically, he was a kid. He was a couple years younger than me, but he was fast as can be. His name was Daniel Parkinson. I would watch this dude go out. We were at Barber, and you would just see the bike kicking, bucking, sliding, just 29s, 30s, 29s, 30s. He'd come in, make a couple complaints, go back out, just 29s, 30s, 29s, 30s. And it's just like, I want to know what that guy knows. And anytime he would be in the pits, I would kind of like try to pick his brain. And he probably gave me the best advice anyone had ever given me. And he said, go get a dirt bike. He's like, not a full size one, but one that has a clutch a little bit smaller. And he's like, go out in the woods and you're going to crash the shit out of yourself. And he's like, when you get good at that, put a slick on the rear and go out in the woods. And then when you get good at that, put a slick on the front and go out in the woods. So at the end of my novice season, I was looking at one of the like dirt track schools, like, I'm gonna go learn dirt track stuff. And it was like $600 to go do that. It was like you only get to do it for like 1 or 2 days. Or I could go on Craigslist and go pick up a 96 CR80. I didn't know the difference between two stroke and four stroke at the time. And I could buy my own dirt bike and practice in the backyard for a while before I actually go spend money to go to a school to basically just learn how to ride a dirt bike as opposed to kind of knowing and then getting some instruction to kind of like speed it along. Um, but yeah, I want to say maybe 2 months into having that dirt bike, I didn't feel like doing the rear and then the front to where I didn't fall in the dirt tires. And I put a 125 GP slick on the front and a scooter tire on the rear. And I would basically go ride single track on a two-stroke 80 in the woods. And to me, that it made the throttle your friend. It made you figure out how you can have the bike sliding, but also not fall over on its side. Like that was probably one of the best tools that I ever had, and throttle control, because nothing has throttle response like an 80 or just a
Yeah.
going from an 80cc two stroke to a 250. I thought the 250 was going to be insane. It was it was fast, but it wasn't a light switch where like the 250 is a nice linear power band. The 80 would just be like nothing, nothing, here's everything.
hmm
Yeah.
So it would put you on the ground really fast if you weren't super controlled with it, where you'd get on it and then before it came on, have to back out of it. That was probably hands down the best training tool I ever had.
Oh, so
Well,
that's
you're
the
gonna
secret.
be super unpopular with my wife because I've been saying I don't have any interest in dirt bikes because they're dangerous, and now you've just said that, and all of a sudden it's like, I think I might need a dirt bike.
But now on the other side of that, I will not go ride motocross because I swear to you, every time I go to the motocross track, I eat it so bad. Like, not confirmed broken ribs, but like 2 months later, roll over the wrong way in bed and breathe the wrong way, and it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. Like, I cannot jump things through the air. Like, it's not within my capacity. Out in the
Yeah,
woods where you can
yeah.
kind of just like slide around and goof off, like I really, really enjoy that. But motocross, I don't have it, man.